Hello YouTube, Totalhenry here, and in this video I'm going to show you some of my art that I did in high school. I'm going to try to make this quick because I have a lot of art and I don't want you guys to sit through a super long video. I don't remember exactly when these sketches were done. So yeah, most of this is from high school. I took art classes in high school. Freshman, junior, and senior year. This might have been junior year. I kind of like this chair sketch a little bit. So yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff here. This is, I guess, a gesture drawn of a classmate. We posed for each other on that day. So some of these are better than others. I think this is charcoal. I'm not exactly sure. It seems like charcoal. And here's another sketch of a classmate. Yeah, these aren't that good. I'm trying to remember how much time we had to do them. Probably only a few minutes. That's why it's so sketchy. Okay, this is one. This one I remember. This is an acrylic painting. I don't usually do paintings that I did senior year in my APR class, and it was based on the photo I took of my bike in basically my kitchen. Like my kitchen would be back sort of that way, and there's the closet or like the pantry, and I thought it was a nice. It would be fun to paint. I struggled with this a lot. I don't usually paint. I kind of like the way that the figures came out, especially sort of the shading on the pants. But I don't know. It was a challenge. I don't usually paint, so this is one of the few paintings you will see. Again, this is acrylic paint. Okay, this is another one I did senior year. I think a lot of these are senior year. Let's give you a full overview. This assignment was to create something that had to do with sort of your personality or just something that you enjoyed. And I really like comics and superheroes, so I thought it'd be fun to draw a comic strip where Batman, or a comic page where Batman and where Spider-Man and Batman are punching me. And then in the bottom, I tried to add some humor where at least I met them and their little victory pose. So I really like this one a lot. I used two very different styles up here. I used a lot of cross hatching. The face is just a little bit hard to tell what's going on there, and I really went to town with the cross hatching in the background. I guess I was trying to do some sort of speed line back there. Also, the anatomy is not great. Like Spider-Man's deltoid, that looks a little bit weird. And then down here, I was using Copic markers on Batman. Very different style than the Spider-Man one. But I really do like this, and a lot of kids in my class liked it. This is a rose I drew. I don't really know why. It's not too bad. This is pencil. I guess I should say this one started with pencil, then I went to ink. This is a good start. It could probably be worked on a little bit more. Okay, so in here, let me first show you this. This is a charcoal drawing that I did of, basically I took a photo of myself and I had the light, had the light coming from below. And it's actually pretty small. This is something that I really like. This is one of those few pieces that I really like. I think the light's good. I think the dark values are good. Let me see if I can quickly pull this out and show you this painting underneath. This charcoal drawing was from senior year. Was it senior year? I'm going to go ahead and say that was senior year. And then this acrylic painting was from junior year. Again, I don't really paint. I kind of like the bike one more. This was, I think, monochromatic, trying to show value of just two colors, and I chose black and white. This is sort of supposed to be a bowl, then it was this egg beater inside and a bowl of fruit. that white value on the bowl should not be that white. And I'm sorry there are some marks on the bag here, but I don't feel like taking it out. Um, so yeah, I think it's okay. I really do like this charcoal one though. Okay, let me see if I can put this back in the bag. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and I'm getting charcoal on my hands. Just a note, if you guys ever work with charcoal, make sure you use like a spray fixative on it, because otherwise the charcoal will rub off on your hands, which I have not yet sprayed that one, so I will probably do that soon, even though I've had this image done for a while. So, moving on, this is a still life that I did summer of senior year for APR. Our teacher wanted us to work over the summer, so this was a still life that I did. My favorite part about this is how I cut off the bottom, and because I didn't know what to do. Like the page initially extended more toward, or extended, and there was like a square or a rectangle, and I didn't know what to do with that area, so I just kind of cut it off, and I thought it made an interesting shape. This was one of the pieces that I sent to colleges when I was applying to art school. And this is a still life that I set up. I do have a little Totoro doll. I had a little Coke thing. I like the pattern, or the way the lines of the blanket go through the Coke bottle. This was pencil, and then I use colored pencil. This is in a radio that we have in our house. It's designed to look like an old radio. Overall, I really like this. I like the folds of the blankets and the values there. I had a lot of fun drawing this. All the colors, the red, blue, yellow, green lines on the blanket. That was a lot of fun. Okay, what's this? Okay, this is something that I drew senior year for my APR class. Just sort of a massive fight scene. I was using the manga style, and in the center that is a character that I designed. That's an original character, and the idea is like he's having a fight with all these different people, and he's getting punched in the stomach. He's punching the guy. And then in the background, I added fire and the smoke. I think that the smoke looks weird. I don't really like the way the smoke came out. I kind of like the background. I like how the background is less focused. I don't know. Maybe this was a little bit too much, and I think the anatomy is off in multiple places. Like I think this body might be a little bit too big. Like I think the relationship between the head and the body looks a little bit weird. I do kind of like the way this punch is coming in here. His head is probably way too small. I remember I had a hard time figuring out the arm and where his legs were going to be. But I don't know. I had a lot of fun, and that's all that matters. Okay, this is something I did junior year, and this is something I really like. This was based on a skeleton that we had in our class, and we were just told to draw it. This is actually just white colored pencil and black colored pencil. Probably would have been easier to use charcoal, but I decided I'm going for colored pencil. Even though I did this a number of years ago, this is still something that I look back on with fond memories, and at the time I really wanted this to be really good, and I worked really hard on this in class, and this took many class periods, many hours. So this is something that I am really happy with, and I entered it in a contest, and it was displayed in the local gallery. It didn't win, but at least it was hung up somewhere. So this is something that I'm really proud of. Okay, the next thing, this is a piece that I did senior year. I think this is the very first thing I did in my APR class. I don't remember what the assignment was, but I remember I wanted to draw something kind of creepy. So I came up with this idea of this hand and this sort of snake wrapped around the hand, and then I had it sort of, and to break up the background, I had like the snake sort of coiling around. My classmates weren't clear whether this was supposed to be multiple snakes or whether it was just supposed to be one snake. I was thinking it was one snake. Here's some detail on the snake. Is this gonna focus? I'm using my cell phone camera here, so this might not be the best video. And I like the sketchy quality on the hands versus the super precise line work on the snake. Spent a lot of time drawing the scales here. I think some of the scales here aren't as good as they could have been compared to something like over there. Like they're more bunched up. And then I remember I think I just used like Sharpie for the background, and I was going for contrast here, and I was also trying to make it look like the snake was squeezing the arm. So this is another piece that I really like. This is senior year again, AP Art. This was an assignment where we had to pick an object and draw it in like 3 different ways, and I picked a glove, and this feels like Salvador Dali-esque. So you can see there's a glove here and another glove there. It sort of feels like 2 different pieces to me. Like the left side feels really different from the right side, and I kind of like the right side more. This just seems to lack detail and sort of lack attention. The idea if the left side was the hand was like pushing down, causing all these cracks, and there was like steam coming out. I like the blue coming out. I like the bright colors in here. So this is another piece that there are a few regrets, but overall I think this had a lot of potential. Okay, this is that character I mentioned before. I was going to use him in my AP Art portfolio, or whatever you would call it. So I was drawing him with different facial expressions. Not really much to say here. Kind of like that one. So just trying out various expressions. I think this is something I eventually did turn in for AP Art. And then this is something similar along the lines. I was trying different sort of poses, or like profile, looking up, looking down, three-quarter view, and then I was just trying other poses, sort of crossing his arms. Here he is standing up, he's sitting down. I remember I had a really hard time with that one. Then here he is, or just sort of like I tried to make him really muscular. This feels off to me. I don't know. Maybe it's because like the lines here are so fine and this is so sketchy. His head is probably also a little bit too small for his body. But yeah, I had a lot of fun drawing this. Because I mean, any excuse that I get in art class to draw manga is always makes me happy. And again, speaking of that same character, this was a incredibly detailed shading thing I did of him sitting in the couch like after a long day of work. Remember I got my dad to pose for me, and this is all pencil. I haven't been saying the materials for all of these. Looking back at this one, I think some of the shading back there is a little bit weird. I do kind of like the shading in this area right here. I like the folds and like how you can tell that the elbow is resting on the couch. I wasn't sure what to do with the background, so that was kind of a problem for that piece, and that was something my teacher addressed. But oh well. And here's another image of the same character that I drew on my own for fun. Supposed to be like he lost like a soccer match or something. I want to use him in like a sports manga. So he's crying and he's standing out in the rain. The hair's a little bit different. I don't know. I feel like some of the folds don't really look right, and the legs look a little bit weird. And I think I used Copic markers for the background. Almost done here. Okay, this is something else I did. This I did just for fun with the same character. different expressions here. I was using Copics to shade the eyes. I was also trying to experiment just with like pencil, or like I think here I was using pencil, then I was erasing it with the ink and shading it in with pencil. Here I just had sort of ink and I would erase the pencil marks. This was like ink and then Copic. This was hatching. So just using various styles. As I said, I want to use him in the sports manga, so a lot of my images have him sweating. This is kind of a demonic pose. And then my favorite one right here at the bottom, he's crying after a loss. I think I based this one off of a scene from Naruto where Sasuke is crying. I think this was after he killed Itachi and he found out that Itachi had really like saved him. I think it was like volume 43 or something. And Sasuke changed his team name from like the snakes to the hawk, and you stand there crying. There's like a hawk flying into the distance, so I think there's a panel of Sasuke crying, so I think that's the one I was basing this off of. I really like that image right there. Few more. What's this one? Okay, this is a figure drawing one. This is charcoal. A figure drawn thing I did at RISD pre-college, summer of my senior year. You know, at the time, I remember I really liked this one, but now that I'm looking at it, I think I don't like it. Like I feel like the arm is too fat. Like right here, it's too fat compared to up there. I think this is too narrow. Yeah, this just looks weird to me now. Also, the white charcoal really stands out, and her leg seems way too big there. This was probably like a 20-minute, maybe longer than 20 minutes. Maybe it had 40 or something minutes to do this. I don't know. At least with this, you can tell what she was doing, like what the pose is, and that's always good. But not super happy with that. This is something I also did at RISD pre-college. This was sketches for a character for a comic I was doing, so I was in the comic class there. Yeah, so just sort of working on the main character here. There's some text. You can pause the video and read it. I'm not going to go over it. It's supposed to be about, like, she was a wizard and just sort of magical powers and stuff. Maybe at one point I will show you guys the comic. And this is more sketches from that. This was supposed to be the antagonist. Again, there's some sketches. I'll hover over it if you guys want to pause the video and read it. So yeah, I think it's important when you're working, when you're coming up with ideas or whatever your art project is, to do sketches, especially for like a comic, just trying to sketch out various ideas. This is something else I did at RISD pre-college. This was a self-portrait, a pretty bad self-portrait. Well, I mean, this probably could be pushed a little bit further, probably cleaned up a little bit more. Not really much to say about it. The nose is off. The shading could be a little bit better. I think the eyes are decent. Only a few more things left. This was the first thing I did at RISD pre-college in my comic book class. I think we had to pick like 2 words, and I got like a drunk, or riding a horse backwards, or a drunk. I think it was riding a horse backwards or something. So I decided, well, he's a drunk cowboy. I do kind of like this one. I went for a very sort of cross-hatching approach to this. I kind of like the horse. I kind of like his expression. The shadows in the rock wall, I remember, were brought up by my teacher and my classmates as a possible like issue. Like, that's a really strong value for this piece, and it looks a little bit weird. But overall, I actually really like this one. And the very last piece, this was part of that glove assignment I mentioned earlier. So this was, senior year? So this was something I did. I think this is Craypaws? I don't know. But as you can see, the color is rubbing off on the folder. Not really much to say about this one. it looks too much like a flag for me to really like it. It's bright, it's colorful. I kind of like the gloves. I like the way the red stands out. But that's it. That's it for my That's it for this video. I still have tons more artwork to show you. I have more sketchbooks to show you. I hope you stuck around to the end of this video, and I hope you guys are excited to see more of my artwork, some more of my original artwork that is actually pretty good. At least I think it's good. Anyway, thank you for watching this video.